Joyful Hermit here. Pain is easing up. I was sort of rugged all day, but I did go to lunch with a couple, an older couple, younger than me though, who own a religious bookstore in our area. And we had just had lovely conversation and also some conversation regarding more of the temporal aspects of the church. And I always much prefer the spiritual or the mystical aspects. I can tell that my inner peace gets disturbed some with the call of the temporal. It is a reality in our lives, but His real presence desires us always, always to be living in the temporal, yet with our minds on things above, with our minds on spiritual, on union with God. And I had mentioned St. Alphonsus Liguori had said to detach from creatures and to have union with God in love. He did not mean to not love creatures, to not love the earth or the temporal, but to more desire the spiritual and union with God, because the temporal is always passing away. I have some poems I want to read. This one in particular was written prior to my conversion to Catholicism. It was back in November of 1994, but I had already been sort of a closet Catholic for 2 or 3 years, and I had not yet contacted the priest that I was foreshown that I was to speak with. But I think I had already started going to some prayer in one of the parishes. This one is, I didn't name it. One who listens may never know the sway his understanding brings, how close to dereliction the tormented swings. A sensitive eye diffuses soul cry for rendering questions, plaguing mind with burning want for indiscretions. Word wisely spoken, oblative token, soothes the heart, tears apart the problem, sifting options, floating peace, clouds depart. The answer looms, clear, illumination near. From within, solution swells, bursts forth from bulb, breathing sacred oration. Be yourself, and in my grace dwell within the solitude proffered. Never fear removal from my love, beloved. Enter Sabbath rest. My center doth bless thee in silence, alone to be what others cannot, pillow for my throne. I hope that this is an encouraging message for those who do suffer, or for those who feel that they don't have great utilization in their location, within their families, within their parish, or their church gathering, Protestant group or whatever, or even in their workplace, community, or in the country. Everything now seems to be so based on fame and being known and having great, great accomplishments that are noted by others. And while these are very good, and we should all achieve to the best of our ability and pray for the graces from God to do great things to change the world, doing great things for God often comes in the very little. And the very little often is very great in the eyes of God. This poem came from someone I had spoken to, whose understanding really helped me, just a good listening ear, helped me from a great moment of despair and of pain. And the listening ear was a human but I know that the human was sent by God. And if we have no human around us when we are facing some struggle or some despair, God does give us the answer to be ourselves and in His grace dwell within the solitude and know that we're never far away from God, even though it may seem so. He is with us always. His real presence is the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And as Jesus said, tried to explain in some of the chapters between 13 and 17 of the Gospel of John, remain in my love. My Father and I will come to dwell with you, and you will be brought to dwell with us. And he also mentions that this is through the Holy Spirit. It all happens through the Holy Spirit. Love comes, messages come from God the Father and the Son through the action of the Holy Spirit. So we may end up being nothing much in the eyes of the world, but a pillow for the throne of God. Do our best and love and endure. Give glory always to God and know that what a great honor it would be to be the pillow that God sits upon in His throne. Of course, that's all mystical imagery, not to be taken literally, but it's a beautiful reality and a possibility for anyone, for any soul. God bless His real presence in you, and I hope you enjoyed this poem.